Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 15 of NWA Chicago and number 13 of NWA Main Event Showcase. And I must begin this episode with a royal apology because I have fucked up this episode substantially. So I completely forgot to have OBS, Open Broadcast Software, record the actual show. So I'm going to have to do my best at remembering everything that happened and give it to you guys off of the post-event screen. So before we get into that, let's take a look at the Starrcade Classic bracket. So we have our first second round matchup set with Nick Aldis and Tyler Bate after last week's victory of Tyler Bate over Brian Pillman Jr. And this week we will find out who will face Flip Gordon in the second round as Sami Guevara will face a mystery opponent. So now let's get into the show. So we'll just really quick try to do this. Kiera Hogan defeats Aspen Rose in the pre-show. Joe Hendry calls out Pete Dunn, goes after his manhood, kind of says that he's the reason that people believe there's an asterisk in Joe Hendry's title reign is because Pete Dunn interfered in his match. It got a 34 E+. Pete Dunn defeats Joe Hendry. Both men got 35 performances. They have great chemistry together. It got a D- 37. Dunn continues beating down Pete Dunn continues beating up Joe Hendry. He hits him with a bitter end in the middle of the ring, then walks off. That got a 36. The new tag team is debuting. There's a hype video. The video focuses on the difference between light and dark, life and death, and the importance of family. It got a D+ 48. Sami Guevara waits his opponent. It got a 36 D-. His opponent winds up being Matt Cross. They have a good 12-minute high spots match. Both men performed really well in the match, and it got a 55 C-. Matt Cross and Sami Guevara, after the match, they're both exhausted. They're both sitting there. They stand up, they shake hands, they hug, and Cross raises Guevara's hand. If you'll recall back in one of the first episodes that we ever had, they faced each other and they showed respect to each other at the end of the match, similar to this. And then the Sons of Michigan came in, beat them up. It brought them close together. So they're very good friends at this point, kind of like a mentor-mentee thing. And this is Matt Cross saying that, you know what, Sami Guevara beat me this time and he's getting really good. The series now stands 1-1 if we want to make a trilogy out of it. Tessa Blanchard calls out Kaylee Ray. She kind of talks about how you hear Cody talking about how he's the grandson of a plumber. He's the son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Well, she is the daughter of a wrestler. She's the granddaughter of a wrestler. It's in her blood. It's in her lineage. She believes people need to earn things, which is why she initially challenged Leia Vandale when she came to NWA, because Leia Vandale's from the WWE. She's entitled. She was a Lakers girl. That's the only reason she got into pro wrestling, is because she was so well known for being a Lakers girl, and she exposed her as a fraud. And now Kaylee Ray does not deserve her NWA World Women's Championship match, she believes, because she lost. So losing a title doesn't entitle you to another title match, is the big line to come out of her promo there. She also challenges her to a match next week on Main Event Showcase. Flip Gordon defeats Ricky Reyes for the NWA World Television title. First, Blanchard calling her out. That got an E24. It wasn't very good. Flip Gordon defeats Ricky Reyes. Both men performed to a 40 in the match. I thought it was a very good match. 43 overall. Rocky jumps Flip. So what happens is Scarlett Bordeaux grabs the World Television title, slides into the ring, gives it to Flip. They hug. While Flip has his back turned, he gets hit in the back with a kendo stick. It's Rocky Romero holding the kendo stick. Rocky Romero hits him again. Flip Gordon falls to his knees. Scarlett Bordeaux is begging him to stop. Ricky Reyes comes over. He kind of like pins her arms behind her back and forces her to watch as Rocky Romero hits him a few more times and then ends it with one really hard hit. Flip Gordon slumps over after he was on his knees. He slumps over, falls onto his face. Ricky Reyes lets go of Scarlett Bordeaux. Scarlett Bordeaux kind of crawls over. She grabs Flip Gordon to make sure that he's okay. And then the Havana Pitbulls walk out of the arena because they're back together now. Rocky Romero has been medically cleared. He's back. That got a 50, and I was very happy with that one. That was a D+. Then Tenille Dashwood defeats Toni Storm to retain the NWA World Women's title. It was a 33 from Toni Storm and a 44 from Tenille Dashwood. It got a 44 for the match. I was very, very happy with this. Tenille is definitely a competitor that can elevate another person to her level as opposed to having to work down at that person's level, which I really appreciate having in a World Women's Champion. Toni Storm, it was a really good performance from her. Then after the match, Alpha Female comes out. She hits her finisher on Tenille Dashwood and then proclaims herself the number one contender because she has torn through the women's division and there is no one that can stop her. So now she demands a title shot. That got, sorry about the voice crack there, that got a 45D plus, a 45D. I talked about how I wanted that to be the end of the show, but I wasn't sure, and I wound up going with this last segment to actually end the show because I wasn't sure if Toni Storm was going to drag down the main event match or if Alpha Female was going to drag down that main event segment where she beats down Tenille Dashwood, but Tenille Dashwood is such a great clutch performer that she brought those segments up a lot. So Cody comes out with Brandy. He cuts a promo on Taiji Ishimori. He says that there's a lot of pressure on him. There's pressure from the fans. There's pressure from his family lineage. There's the pressure of the title. But as long as he's got Brandy by his side, he can overcome that pressure. Ishimori might have Danielle in his corner, and Danielle is a great advocate, but she's nothing like Brandy. They don't have the same bond that Brandy and Cody have. They don't have that husband-wife bond, and so that is going to make him better, and that makes him unbeatable. He's no longer the prince of the NWA with the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in his hands. He is the king of the NWA, and behind every king, or what is every king without his queen? So that show was held in the NWA Arena in Chicago, Illinois, in front of 1,563 fans. On television, got a .06, 52,050 viewers, a 48D plus for the show. Once again, I would like to apologize for messing up and not having the full show for you guys and just having to run off this screen. Give you guys a very expedited version of the show. I will see you guys in the next one, and I promise I will not fuck that one up. So thank you guys. See you later.